Hi everyone! In this video, I will be showing you how I made this pony version of Sonata Dusk. She is one of the dazzlings from the My Little Pony Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks movie. For her forelock, roll out a sheet of clay about 2 millimeters thick or however you like. Straighten the sides by trimming them with a blade. Decide how long you want her forelock to be. Now trim off the excess clay. Mark the center point of the side. Then use your blade to cut out a V shape. Press the sheet onto her head and pinch the sides together. Cut off the excess clay with a knife. If there's a gap, then blend the clay together with your finger and smooth out any rough or uneven edges. Once that is done, press a small sheet of clay onto the back of her head. Trim the end to your liking. Then smooth out any uneven edges. For the sides of her forelock, decide how long you want them to be. Cut 2 sheets of clay to that length. Lightly sketch on the shape with a tool. Now cut the shape out with a knife. Smooth out any rough or uneven edges. Attach them to the sides of her head and blend until it becomes seamless. Use your knife and tool to create the gaps and texture for her mane. Then do the same for the other side. To make her ponytail, start with a log of clay. Taper the ends and sculpt it into a S shape. Decide how long you want it to be. If it's too long, then trim it to the length you want and reshape. With a small piece of clay, make a tuft of hair by tapering one end. Flatten it a bit and blend it on the ponytail. Make another tuft of hair and blend it on the other side. Now create the hairband by wrapping a thin sheet of clay around the top end. So this is what it looks like so far. Let's move on to her tail. Start with a log of clay, taper one end and flatten the rest. Decide how long you want the tail to be and trim off any excess. Now taper this end and shape it to your liking. Make a tuft of hair and blend it onto her tail. All the sculpting is now finished. Let's start painting. Sonata's skin color is very pale blue, so I've mixed a tiny amount of Apple Barrel's Cool Blue with some white paint to create this color for her coat. I didn't paint this area because I need to glue on her tail first. If I paint this area and then glue on the tail, then I'll be gluing the tail onto the paint instead of the pony. I did this for one of my previous custom. I didn't realize that it was a big mistake until I dropped it. The paint along with the tail ripped right off of the pony, so make sure you glue the tail to the pony. I'm gonna paint her tail before gluing it on. You can do whichever is easier for you first. To make this blue color for her tail, I mixed cool blue with a bit of white and a tiny amount of gray. For the dark blue streaks, I'm using Apple Barrel's Admiral Blue color. I've painted on one more streak on this side, and two more on the other side. The tail is now ready to be glued on. I've painted on 3 more layers for her coat. For her mane, I'm using the same blue color that I used for her tail. This is after 3 layers of blue paint. For the bail, I'm using Folk Art's metallic Inca Gold color. Regular gold or a similar color will work as well if you don't have metallic gold. I'm using black for the cord. Take your time and try not to get any black paint on her coat. This is after 3 layers of black paint. Moving on to her ponytail. I'm using the same blue color that I used for her tail and mane. I've glued on her ponytail using super glue. Now let's paint her eye. I've already painted on her eyelashes because it's too difficult to do in front of the camera. All you have to do is sketch on the shape of her eye using a pencil, and then paint on her eyelashes with a fine tip brush. Now let's finish the rest of her eye. After about 3 layers of each color, paint on a large and a small white circle for the highlights. Once that is done, do the same for the other eye. I've painted on her cutie mark. If you've watched my other custom videos, then you should know that I don't film the painting of the cutie mark because it's too difficult to do with the camera in front of me. All I did was paint on the heart shape with a magenta color. Next, I painted on the musical note with the same blue color that I used for her mane. And then I painted on the shadows with the same blue color that I used for her streaks. I almost forgot to paint the streaks on her forelock. I'm using Apple Barrel's Admiral Blue color. This is after 3 layers of blue paint. I've sculpted her gem pendant using red clay. If you don't have red clay, you can use any color clay and then paint it red. Now glue on the pendant. The pendant is really tiny, so I'm using a plier to hold it. This way I won't risk gluing the pendant to my fingers. I'm brushing on a thin layer of gloss sealer to give the gem a shiny appearance. If you don't care for shiny gems, then skip this step. Alright, this custom Sonata is now finished. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Follow me on Instagram if you want to know what pony I'll be working on next. And if you want to watch my other pony tutorials, then click on the images that are on the screen or visit my channel. Thanks for watching!